All right. Thank you for joining us today for this Progress, Flowmon, and Veeam webinar. My name is Frank Cotto. I'm a Principal Solution Architect here at Progress. I worked alongside several individuals on this integration, or rather on the integration that we're going to dive into today. And in fact, one of those individuals has joined me today to assist in delivering this webinar. Ivan, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Yeah, hello, everybody. Yeah, my name is Ivan Joffe. I'm a technical advisor out of the Veeam Product Management Alliance team. As you can hear, I'm based in Switzerland, and I'm with Veeam since more than 10 years now. Yeah, thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Ivan. So the focus of this webinar and the motivation for our joint solution offering is maximizing cyber resilience by unifying security and recovery in the pursuit of seamless defense. And I know that's a lot to chew on, but we are really excited to dig in and tell you all about how this integration enables our customers to do just that. Let's consider some eye-opening statistics that in part are the motivation for the Flowmon and Veeam integration we are sharing with you today. The average time to detect a data breach in 2023 was 204 days. The average time to contain a breach in 2023 was 73 days. During a breach, the average cost of a data breach was estimated to be $4.45 million. Lastly, the average cost of a data breach was diminished on average by 1.76 million for organizations leveraging security AI and automation. So I mean, picture this. By reducing detection time to just 2 hours, attackers have significantly less time to collect, encrypt, and exfiltrate data. Now, imagine cutting investigation just down to 1 hour. This allows for a faster response, minimizing lateral movement within the network. With this level of intelligence, you can trigger more targeted responses, resulting in less operational and business impact. Instead of needing to recover 60 devices, you might only need to focus on 5. Now let's consider the financial impact. Imagine reducing the cost of a data breach from an average of $4.45 million down to $500,000. By reducing detection and response times, organizations can significantly mitigate the financial and operational impact of data breaches. It's not just about protecting data. It's about better safeguarding the viability and reputation of your organization. So, considering the financial impact that a data breach has on an organization can directly correlate to the amount of time a threat actor gets to reside in your network, the question becomes, how do we minimize the time a threat actor gets to reside on a network? And so I'd like to start by just walking through today's security architectures at a high level. We have perimeter security solutions protecting the entrances into our network. We have endpoint detection and response tools protecting servers and endpoint solutions. We have backup and replication solutions like Veeam to ensure our ability to quickly recover from outages or data breaches is preserved. We have even ensured that when our threat actors get past our perimeter or endpoint protection solutions, we have a network detection response and observability tool like Flowmon monitoring for any anomalous activity on the network. Lastly, all those solutions are configured to send alerts to a central SIEM or SOAR solution. You're already light years ahead of most network security architectures, but there's still a problem we must address. The only other problem to address is, well, us. As unpopular as it is to say, human response is the only thing left slowing down the process of kicking threat actors out of your network. This is why Progress, Flowmon, and Veeam Backup and Replication has developed the means for our solutions to talk to one another. They don't sleep, they're not slow, and they're always ready to protect and preserve our networks. When the tools responsible for protecting our networks and our ability to recover work together, not only are they made more effective, but our own response actions are optimized. So you may still be wondering, how does Flowmon complement Veeam's resilience capabilities specifically? And in efforts to simplify the message, here's an outline of the different categorical phases of an attack. Considering Flowmon is monitoring from the perspective of the network, it can see the network traffic generated by every phase of an attack as soon as it starts to appear on the network and is tagged as anomalous. Veeam, monitoring at the endpoint by scanning backups taken from endpoints, has visibility into the attack phases that occur on the endpoint device likely after it's already infected. Leveraging the Flowmon and Veeam integration enables backup admin to gain that visibility into the earliest phases of an attack occurring on a Veeam protected endpoint. So proactive versus reactive response is ultimately the goal. So let's dive into a brief overview of both Flowmon Anomaly Detection System and Veeam for the viewers who are not familiar with these solutions. Introducing Flowmon, a cutting-edge solution that revolutionizes network security with the power of artificial intelligence. Imagine having an AI-powered network security analyst at your fingertips, tirelessly monitoring your network 24/7, analyzing traffic patterns, and identifying potential threats in real time. Well, that's what Flowmon delivers. Advanced threat detection, distilling thousands of alerts into a few security incidents, real-time insights and actionable intelligence, shortening the time to investigate attacks and automate response, full observability into your hybrid cloud environments to facilitate smooth network operations, and fast root cause analysis, and more. Flowmon's network detection and response solution, Anomaly Detection System, is powered by 240 plus individual algorithms and detection methods that can be categorically placed into the buckets you see on the left side of your screen. Machine learning, adaptive baselining, heuristics, behavioral patterns, reputational data, and we even have built-in signature-based detection from an IDS perspective. All of that is important to identify one truth, and that truth is this tool set, taking a signatureless approach in the core of what it does, has the ability to detect threat actors at the earliest possible points and alert, of course, on those threat actors and anomalies with the forensic event evidence required to dig into those individual occasions. And so, in summary, right, Flowmon Anomaly Detection System provides the ability to automatically detect any threats hidden in network traffic, leverage content-rich anomaly investigation, provide noise-free insights thanks to our machine learning-powered engine, and provide real-time detection, providing information for remediation. And with that, I want to shift gears here and hand the mic over to Ivan that's going to tell you a little bit about the Veeam data platform and give you a high-level overview of the value provided.
Thank you, Frank. So backup and recovery is critical, but it's not enough anymore these days. To effectively respond to the ever-growing threats of cyber attacks, advanced capabilities to monitor and measure protection, while automating and orchestrating data recovery is paramount to achieve resilience. Veeam provides you as an organization with data resilience through secure backup and fast, reliable recovery. So within the Veeam data platform, you see one of these three main green tabs, backup and recovery, where you will find our flagship product, Veeam Backup and Replication. With monitoring and analytics, we cover this part with Veeam One as a product, and the recovery orchestrator, our tool to be able to plan, design, recover, and document everything you need for your recovery plans. We integrate seamless with, as you can see on the left side, AWS, Azure, Google Cloud, on the application part with containers and Kubernetes. In software as a service part with Microsoft 365 and Salesforce. So you have the flexibility that you need for all your workloads. They can be on-premise with Veeam Data Cloud, in the cloud, or as a service, as I explained just before. With native APIs, we connect everything together to have the whole picture, or to group everything under the Veeam data platform. Some points or some new entries, let's call it like this, in our 12.1 release, which is the release where we introduced all our security, or most of our security and cyber resilience features. One of them in the respond and recovery part is Yara content analysis, which is really new to our system. Idea here is really to avoid recovery reinfection. So before you start a restore, or from time to time when you ever want, just use some Yara rules to check your existing backups against malware against, for the one which know Yara, a really big tool where you can check against everything you can think of. We enhanced the automate clean recovery part. Here again, Yara rules and antivirus solutions which can be used to be sure that when you try to do a restore, that it is malware free and you are not getting reinfected again. Then we have the anomaly visualizer in the recovery with precision part. So that means with our technology CDP, where you can mirror your virtual machines from site A to site B in seconds. We have this anomaly visualizer in now to check everything. On the secure and compliant part, there is new this 4 eyes admin protection or 4 eyes principle that we introduced. Idea here is to have opinion of a second administrator for specific tasks that can be done within our product. That means if someone tries to delete backups, if someone tries to delete whole repositories where all your backups resides to, this needs a second approval from an additional administrator. The security and compliance analyzer, which we already had in place, with this tool or feature within Veeam Backup and Replication, we check the Veeam Backup and Replication infrastructure. We have 11 infrastructure metrics that we check, and if I remember right, about 19 security related settings and features and patches and whatever is needed that we check against on a really nice page where you see if you meet this compliance or not. Then new, we have this the Veeam Threat Center. With that, we really put the spotlight on malware in a human readable way. You have a nice threat center where you see how far you are to reach 100% of compliance and security within your environment. Do you meet your RPOs? Where are the issues in your backups? And so on. This everything is shown in a human readable way on our Veeam Threat Center. Then the last part is detect and identify. So we have early threat detection. This is our own AI machine learning powered engine where we can detect malware. This happens during a backup, so there is no impact to your backup. During your backup streams will be checked against malware and all this stuff. Then we have integration with a proactive threat hunting. That means an integration with ServiceNow or other CM tools of your choice that you have already in place. I hope so. And then we have, last but not least, what we will focus a little bit or have our focus a little bit today is the Veeam Incident API, where we work with third-party tools together to be able to mark existing restore points as infected, and then based on that trigger an immediate backup or not, depends on your needs.
All right, thank you, Ivan. Kind of taking over here. We want to shift gears and tell you now about how Veeam and Flowmon work together. You heard a high-level overview of the individual product sets and their value points, and we believe that's going to give you a little bit more insights into how the structure of this integration is beneficial to the ultimate customer ecosystem, right? And so we put together this very straightforward architecture to just show you specifically how Flowmon and Veeam kind of work together to not only detect threat actor presence in the environment, but even for the potential for spreading that visibility across SecOps teams, backup admins, and then ultimately optimizing the reaction, right? So in its simplest way here, right, Flowmon can be deployed as hardware on-prem, in virtual environments or in cloud environments, and of course support the hybrid architecture. We have Flowmon in the center of the screen here. There are two primary components. You have your Flowmon Pro that is ingesting network traffic from your routers and switches, for example. It is generating highly enriched network net flow, and then ultimately adding details to that net flow that is key in identifying threat actor movements. And so that flow is then analyzed by the collector at the top end of your screen. When the detection occurs on different aspects of the network, and the idea here is we are focusing on detection around the devices that Veeam is backing up and protecting. And so when any of those devices are generating malicious traffic anywhere really in the network that Flowmon is monitoring, we can detect that malicious activity, that anomalous behavior, and not only trigger a communication by email or sending logs to a SIEM or SOAR, but we can now directly alert to Veeam, and so that you would have that insight appear right on the Veeam's UI. We use two identifiable variables, one being the host name of the device as well as the IP of the device, so that Veeam can correlate that to the devices that it has backups for or is running protection for. And again, ultimately, this insight now is available to the backup admin, right? Where organizations may have silos between visibility for SecOps and NetOps and their backup team, for example. This is a very valuable proposition here, so that on the initial action, your backup team's informed, your security team's informed, and they can work together to remediate the issue. I'll hand back over for a moment here to Ivan to kind of go through how this works on the Veeam end, and then we'll go over a brief demo that I have here of it actually working in a lab environment. Ivan?
Yeah, incident API. Let's have a general view on our incident API. As I told you before, we have different other ways to scan against malware and so on. This is the Yara-based scanner. We have inline ransomware scanner, our AI-owned tools, and we have our incident API. This is an external tool. It's an API on our system. You cannot disable or enable it. This API is there and can be used for third-party tool to tell us where the third-party tool did detect some anomalies. There is a timestamp which comes or has to come with these incident APIs. Then we need some information about the machine which was infected or has some issues or whatever. As you can see here, we have 4 different parameters that we can receive from via the API. We need at least 2 of them to be able to identify this virtual machine within our database, and then we can get some details about the infection or whatever the third-party tool wants to let us know, respectively let the backup admin know what went or what did happen. Then we will see this incident, as you can see here in our UI, in the backups as a red bug, marked with red. Then we will see it as well on our inventory tab. We see malware detection, so that the backup admin just right away in the inventory tabs will see that something is wrong. And we have the possibility to run Veeam One report. This is our own monitoring tool, and we will have reports there which can show some detections. You can do this right away as a real-time report, or a report which comes scheduled every day, or however you set here as a time between the different reports. As you can see, the data analytics service on this part, we have Progress Flowmon on the left side, and let's see how it works with Progress Flowmon a little bit more in detail. So we have here our infrastructure. On the left side, we have the customer data center where an attack happened or something like this. We have on the right side our repository where we store our full backups, our incremental backups, all our backups. We have the proxy server, which is our data mover, and we have Veeam backup and replication as our central management point. So we first, number one, we do regular backups and we write them to our repository. Then we introduce external cyber protection solution. In this case, it's Progress Flowmon, where is doing his work, as Frank just explained before, in detecting anomalies and everything which can be detected on the network. Then something happens in the customer data center. This is number 3. Flowmon recognizes this and will send or connect with our incident API and send over timestamp, send over IP address. Let's take as an example IP address and FQDN name of this virtual machine. And we will then process this in our database, and based on the IP address and the name, we will mark all backups which were done after the timestamp as infected. This is what we do in our database. So I told you already, we check this against the database, and then we mark the backups. As you can see, the last 2 backups are marked as infected. Right away after that, they are not only marked as infected, but you see it again here in the inventory tab, and every subsequent backup which runs will then be marked as infected. As well, we mark all backup copies that are done of these infected backups. We mark them as well as infected, because we don't know if someone already did some work on this to clean or not. So we will mark everything after the timestamp we get from Progress as infected. With that, the backup admin has the visibility that something did happen in the network and knows, okay, my last known good is the backup, the last backup prior to the infection. The backup admin, this is the only parameter he can set within the incident API. He can click a button which does, as soon as we get informed that something is going wrong with a virtual machine, he can check this box, and right away we will start with a backup. That means we try to keep the time the machine is infected from the moment we recognize the infection to the next backup as short as possible. So if we normally have an RPO of 24 hours, we don't have to wait until the next backup schedule kicks in. We can right away, as soon as we recognize an infection, start a backup and do a next restore point. This will then be marked as infected, and the one before is still the last known good.
All right, thank you, Ivan, for that architectural run through there. So we wanted to kind of give you a bit of an insight into how this actually works in a lab environment. So we have a brief overview here so we can dig into essentially what this is going to look like implemented on both solutions. So here's the Flowmon anomaly detection system analysis overview, which summarizes anomalous activity being detected by Flowmon. Ultimately, that is generated by devices that Veeam backup and replication has been configured to backup and protect. This window is designed to provide Veeam admins with an overview of anomalies detected. See, I defined here a data feed, which is populated with the network traffic generated by devices being backed up and replicated by Veeam. A custom perspective is created to define priority to detection methods as they pertain to the threat detection we want to conduct with respect to devices being backed up and replicated by Veeam. The Flowmon script here is going to be downloaded ultimately by a user from our Flowmon integration support page and imported to Flowmon. Parameters are then defined inside of the UI here, and we can configure the script to trigger on events labeled high priority or above, considering the custom perspectives that we defined previously being the categorical allocation, right? And so now here you see I'm mimicking a discovery phase attack by just using ZenMap on a Windows 10 client to chaotically TCP scan the network. This Windows 10 client is indeed being backed up by Veeam, and Veeam is random backup on the PC following the scan. In addition, the network traffic being generated by the Windows 10 client is being monitored by Flowmon. So we'll see this kind of carry out here for a moment, and then we'll switch here to the Veeam UI. Okay, so shifting to the Veeam UI, we can see right in the inventory window that malware has been detected, and we can visualize the detection event history. Diving into the history, we see the detected events as communicated by Flowmon and can view the Flowmon event ID, as well as those event details that you just seen that were provided by Flowmon Anomaly Detection System. In addition, under the home screen, we see that the backup job has been flagged, and we can dive into the device's backups and properties. We see that the backup has been flagged as potentially malicious. Shifting back to Flowmon's Anomaly Detection System events window, a Veeam admin is able to dive into the event and gather key insights into the event type and subtype, source information, targets, and key evidence that we use to determine and analyze the scope of this attack. With that, I think we'll wrap up for today. Of course, we'd be happy to have conversations one-on-one with you around our solution sets and how they can work together to achieve your objectives. Thank you for joining. Ivan, thank you for joining me. It's always a great time when we partner to work on things.
Thank you.
Oh, my absolute pleasure. And everybody have a great day. Thank you so much.
Bye. Bye-bye.